I'm gonna get back to that story, Sonny. Just, just you listen to Boomer Great One. He's gonna tell you about how it was back in the olden days, back before fire, back when we walked uphill for everything. In fact, we didn't even have a concept of downhill because there was no downhill. Everything was uphill. We thought that was normal. We didn't even have a word for it because there was no alternative. It was uphill all the time. You just need to reach down and grab yourselves by your bootstraps and pull yourselves up, Sonny. Because when I was your age, I bought a house for $25,000. And I made that money on my paper route and bussing tables at the local cafe. And if I could do it, you can do it too. You just need to reach down and pull yourself up and just buckle up there, buckaroo. God, I hate boomers.
I wanted to find an article that explained what happened at the end of World War II. And I couldn't find articles. I could find archives and a lot of pictures and videos, things like the World War II Memorial Museum, all this. But I couldn't find an article. And I'm sure if I searched long enough, I could find one. But I'm just going to tell you what happened. And the audience can say, actually, and then you'll be ignored. So, short version, guy with funny mustache and guy, what was it, Goebbels, his propagandist minister, they said, hey, gang, let's do this thing called National Socialism. And things didn't work out so well. And after or towards the end of World War II, as the Allies were finally defeating Germany and making their way towards Berlin, they started discovering the concentration camps. And they were appalled, and everybody else was appalled. But because the propaganda by the guy with the funny mustache and his propaganda minister, the German people, were getting invaded. Those are the bad guys. Why? Because, well, we're being invaded. And similar things with Russia and Ukraine right now. Well, who's the bad guys? Well, who's the good guys? It's not so black and white. But from the perspective of your home country being invaded, well, obviously you're going to say, well, we're the good guys. We're the good guys. They're the bad guys. And to prove that maybe you weren't so good, or at least that you were lied to or propagandized, the Allies started dragging German civilians and force marching them to and through the concentration camps. And I guess I remembered it a long time ago, but then I read some stuff where they forced the German civilians to bury the dead concentration camp victims to say, hey, this is what happened. And I ended up, I wanted to find a picture that wasn't too gruesome, but man, there were some gruesome pictures. Just bodies all lined up. And here are the German civilians, and they're shocked. That's why I got that one picture. But I had to edit it out because, we can't talk about history in an adult manner now. Anyway, the Germans were shocked. I can't believe it. And though it's not on par with genocide, we really are at a point now in U.S. politics, which I don't like talking about, but it needs to be discussed, where you have these naive, old school 1960s Union Democrats, people who the number of times I've heard Democrat friends, which I'm kind of purged, I'm running out of patience. We're for the little guy. That's what they're. It's not on par with genocide. It isn't. But whatever you may think of Trump and Doge and Elon Musk, you should look. It's starting to be exposed as to just how corrupt the Democrat party, your party, the one you vote for, they're not the good guys. They're really not. This idealistic, simple view of the Democrat Party as, well, they're the party for the working. And at one time, you could have convinced me. Again, I'm old enough to remember when Union and Democrat went to get South Dakota voted Democrat. They did. Tom Daschle, if you want to look it up. There was a labor or a working party. But man, ever since I've been going to school, I'm looking, I'm like, these are snakes. They're fucking snakes. I'm not saying all Democrats are snakes. That's not the case. There might even be, although I politically disagree with him tremendously, Bernie Sanders, I say, would be one of the more honest Democrats, politicians out there. But you, hokum pokum, gee williker shucks howdy. You know, if we just raise the minimum wage by 50 cents, we get the fair deal. Fair deal. Those corporations, don't get me started. And it's kind of like the Allies came in with General, what's his name, Musk, and they're exposing some pretty bad shit. Again, not the horrors of genocide, but how much evidence do you need to see exposed to realize that your party has lost its way? It is not the party of the people or the working man. I've said this for well over a decade. It's the party of trust fund babies. And so I'm going to go through a couple items here. Okay. And I don't care. I'm convinced that some people, especially Americans, are so lazy and intellectually lazy. You could show Democrats, I don't know, doing stuff on Epstein Island, which we have yet to determine. But literally, I almost guarantee you could start seeing some horrific genocidal shit. And, well, that was a few bad apple. I could see you. I could. Just not even true believers, just lazy minds. And I'm not saying this is an endorsement for going and voting for the Republican Party, but you may want to form a Labor Party, okay, that, I don't know, isn't for trust fund babies and actually is for labor. That's for like common working man, whatever idealistic 1963 hokum bullshit you got in your mind, all right? The official Democrat Party is not it. And but I don't want to vote Republican, I know. But let's just go through the list, okay? First, the main one that instigated this, okay, you may not like those, but just the one federal agency, U.S. aid, all the fraud, all the embezzlement, all that money not going to the poor people you think you're helping out. It is going, it's a slush fund for connected Democrats. They're stealing the taxpayer money. I'm pissed because I don't want the money to be going to these things anyway. You should be pissed because the money never made it, or the vast majority of the money never made it to the intended people, the poor people or the disadvantaged or whatever, foreign aid or whatever it was. It went to celebrities, well-connected Democrats. Now, like I said, that's just one. That's U.S. aid. Again, you may not like Doge, right? But in terms of government efficiency, my concern, being a conservative libertarian type, is I want my money back. I will admit, and I'm not ashamed of, that's my money and you're giving it to other people I don't approve of. And fuck those people. I don't care. Let them figure it out. You should be pissed off saying, hey, that money was supposed to go to single moms of America or poor children of the world or amputee children of Zimbabwe. And it didn't. It went to thieves. It went to connected dam. Now, also correct. You're all wondering how congressmen and women of both parties make their, what is it, $176,000 a year, yet end up having Nancy Pelosi money at the end. I'm sure there's Republicans as well. Can we agree that there is fraud being perpetrated against the American taxpayer, Republican or Democrat? Can we agree on that? All right. Now, who does it? Well, it wasn't the Republicans voting for all this free hokum pokum bullshit. And it's not the Republican, or what should we say, conservative ideology that calls for it. I understand your desire to help out the little people, right? But it is not helping out the little people. It's actually costing us our financial future. I don't mean to bore you with this, okay? You wonder why there's inflation. God, probably $1 in $3 is just wasted at the federal level. And we just print off more, right? In other words, fraud and embezzlement, regardless of what the the name of the department is, should not be tolerated by any taxpayer of all political parties. But it's the Democrat parties that are doing it. And look at how quickly they come to defend it. Right? Oh my God. Elon Musk is finding, hey, we're going to fire or get rid of a bunch of federal employees we don't need. Well, so what? Then have you seen their entitlement? What am I supposed to do? Well, what everyone else does in the real world, in the private sector, without lifelong government employment. You go find another job, asshole. So it's just a money laundering operation. All these NGOs, all these nonprofits, it's just money laundering. They're taking your money. And it's not, dude, we spent around $35 trillion on the welfare state since it was created in 1965, depending on how you want to account for inflation. Why is there still poor people? Isn't it shocking? We still got the poor people, but man, there's a lot of rich politicians. I wonder where all the money went. You don't have to be a Chad Elkins level financial auditor to figure this out. That's the main one. All right. Let me show you some other Frankenstein monsters you guys created. Right. Looks like there was an attack on X, Rumble, and Teslas. Like there's physical attacks with people on Teslas. I guess you could say the riots or Antifa, where there's actual damage. All right. It's not Republicans that are going and torching things. It's not Republicans are going up to whatever. Right? I don't know. What's a leftist vehicle? I guess a Subaru. Volvos. Did they make Volvos anymore? Is that a thing anymore? I don't know. It's not Republicans slashing tires, breaking windows, trying to shut down companies because of politics. Now, they might sue for DEI. That's racism and discrimination. That's different. But well, we don't condone that. Yeah, but it is surely on the leftist side, right? Where did they get that ideology? Where do they think it's perfectly all right to start destroying people's property or people's private property? That doesn't come from conservative libertarian ideology. That comes from the left. That comes from the public schools. That comes from colleges and universities. Well, I don't really approve of what they teach. I know those are extreme. You're voting for it. Do we need to take another tour through the concentration camp? The trans stuff, whether it's not the teachers, the drag queen story hour, not Republican. That's not Republican. Not libertarian. That's squarely Democrat. Well, I don't agree. It's your team. You keep voting for that shit. And then also where, and admittedly, it is an extreme example, I know, but it's squarely, again, Republicans don't do this. It's only Democrats where there's this big push to get children, people under the age of 18 to do transition surgery and all that. I don't care what the arguments are, which I think are dubious at best. Why are we going after children to having them go through irreversible surgeries and chemical treatments? What matter of fact, I would say I don't know why a political party is involved in that at all. I really don't. But that's your guys. You guys did that. That's not us. That's not the allies. It is a horror. It is an atrocity. And you're going to, my audience will disagree with me. I'm pro-trans rights. I'm like, well, if you're trans, you want to do, I've met very few, but they exist. Like, no, I want to transition. And I'm like, this is the libertarian side of me. Like, yeah, as long as you ain't hurting no one, sure. It's your life. I don't have anything. Well, you got a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old? The broken family single mom, my child, oh my God. And then all the governments, not governments, the Democrat party, you got to pay for it. And then pay for it too. Right? Are you concerned? I know a lot of Democrats are. A lot of them sat out this past election, including the ones that didn't exist. It was just ballot stuffing. Some of you even went to the Republican side. You're starting to realize, hey, it only took 30 fucking years. Hey, wait a second. Did you know? Oh my God. I thought they were for the little people, and now they're touching our kids. The woke DEI trash, that's racism, that's sexism, that's discrimination against whatever trait. Really? Yeah, oh, we got to do affirmative action. Racism and discrimination is bad. You're right, discrimination is bad. But it's okay to do it against that group of people this time. You have no moral compass? None whatsoever? Oh, it's great and cool when you're a Gen X girl, in the 1990s. Oh, current popular thing, totes me goats. Until you have a son. And where's my son? Oh, wait, huh? Wait. But hey, it was popular thing, right? It was cool popular thing back then, right? Throw the brick through the Jewish-owned store. That was the fun thing to do in Munich in 1938? It was, hey, everybody, it's the popular thing. That right there. You'd be fucking ashamed of yourselves because you became Democrat because it was the popular thing. Don't get me started about the Clinton election. How everything was just popular. You can be popular. Oh my God, I'm a Democrat. I'm so popular. Are your policies hurting or harming people? Buddy, I'm popular. I'm popular. You're keeping people poor and ruining generations of poor people. You need to come up with better. But I want to be popular. I want to be invited to the Minnesota House Party. I want to be popular. That's a different discussion. It's a different discussion. I'm talking about the intellectually honest, the normal, well-intended Democrats, which there are some. But I mean, if we did a pie chart, true believers, Marxist psychopaths, 25%. The well-intended Democrats who actually think that, well, if we just keep you don't know the difference between $1 million and $1 trillion. You never looked up the federal budget. Well, the rich got more. We got like a childish understanding of economics, but well-intended. Why can't we burn off more money? Another quarter. Popular little conformist bitches. Half of you. Half of you. Those are the ones that wouldn't change no matter. You could show actual concentration camps ran in the desert by Democrats. They wouldn't care. Popular. Popular. The immigrants. This is more of a logical one. You are just letting in people. They don't have to become citizens. They increase the welfare state, increase our taxation. Some commit crime. Geez, I wonder what, there are many other reasons for housing being pricey. Well, you just imported, what was it, 20 million illegal? Lord knows how much over the past 30 years. You don't give a fuck about the country? Right, think about that. But I think we should, well, okay, then what do you think the consequences are going to be? And then your guys just let them in. They just let them in. They put them in your neighborhood. Some started committing crimes. My favorite is the Venezuelan gangs that took over the apartment complex in Denver. Oh my God. The gang is doing gang things. Maybe we didn't white women enough and give foreigners enough of our husband's money. Popular. Popular. Oh my goodness. I just love everybody. Can I be popular? Do you want a country? Like, it's a basic, simple thing. Do you want a country? Well, then you keep some people in and you keep some people out. And it's like, no, you got to come here and what? Basically learn the language, right? Become a productive citizen. Like, hey, here's our beliefs and our ethics. This is what we do in this country. And then that's another thing where it's a foreign concept. Think of this foreign, like, what if we were all Americans who work for Team America, World Police? Just kidding. Not Team America. Like, that's the idea. The Democrats are the anti-American party. You believe America is bad and you got to take it down. And there might be some legitimate constructive criticism about America, but you are anti-American. You're the party that's anti-American. You actually pit other Americans against each other. That's what the Democrat Party has done, along whatever trait you want to pick. Sex, gender preference, race, what else? Mental stability, mental health. I even weight, able-bodied versus fat. They have been provocateurs. They've been instigators of hatred among different groups of people. And letting other countries in, letting anyone in with no regard to their quality and caliber, whether we can handle these people or not, and then accusing other people of isms and phobes and you hate. Oh my God, the sex war alone? Who? I would say right beneath just outright theft through USAID and other forms of nonprofit money laundering. Dude, where did the hate come from the women against the men? Well, may I point out feminine. Now that could be its own origin of vile fascism, continuing on with the analogy. But that's the right. Democrats are the feminine right. That's not Republicans. Republicans like, yeah, treat women equal and fair under the law. Democrats like, and those rat bastard men. No one in anger ever uttered the word patriarchy that was a Republican. You got women. Which party got women to start hating their men, or at least not like them? It's all for fair treatment. No. Wake up. I don't care what the propaganda said. You got, what are we on now? 3 generations of women that are awfully cool. I don't mean like in Steve McQueen way. They have a cool reception to men. There's a negative reception, an adversarial opinion of men. Has it ever happened in the history of the world where one sex was competing or adversarial towards the other like we got today? Not Republicans, not libertarians, that's Democrats. And these are the main ones. I could go on, but these things I listed off, they're appalling. They're not good for any country, regardless of whether it was a conservative or a left-leaning. These policies, these actions are not good for any economy, any culture, any society, any country. And this is not an endorsement for the Republican Party. And you may say, you may hate the Republican Party. I get it. All right. But if we don't vote Democrat, that'll split the vote. Well, maybe your political ideology, both the professional arm in the form of the Democrat Party, and then we're just for a little guy, dopey, naive, but well-intended Americans. Maybe it's time for a schism. Maybe you ought to go wander the desert a little bit. Maybe the Democrats are out of power for a while until you come back with a left-leaning, pro-labor, but not totally fucking evil and corrupt political party. Or maybe you purge the Democrats. Maybe, if you could do it, and I think you're going to get the normal, everyday Republican people, maybe you get term limits. And as much as you hate Trump, he's actually uncovering this shit. You should be cheering on any any criminal charges about fraud and embezzlement that come down the road. You absolutely should, whether it happens to Democrats or Republican politicians. But I just look at this shit, and what's really fascinating, like when the German citizens walk through, they're like, oh my God, they were appalled. There's some pictures. If you want to go study, dude, it's a fascinating bit of history. There's a picture. I think the Allies were done with this shit. And it's like, the Russians are going to treat you that badly. We're going to treat you this badly. And they got the German citizens lined up. There's a picture of them. They're marching those motherfuckers to the concentration camp. Let's go. There's this pissed off looking general like, let's go. Forgot where I was going with that. But you need to wake up and acknowledge the unacceptable things the professional Democrat Party has done to the country. God, the past 50 years in some cases. But certainly this fraud, certainly the monetary fraud, the embezzlement, or whatever you want to call it, theft. And you may not like Trump, but Trump is marching you guys to the concentration camp to show you, hey, This is what's going on. And even though it is under the flag of Trump and the Republican Party, you may hate Elon Musk, they are exposing actual genuine evil within the government, surprise, and they're trying to fix it so that we'd have some money to actually, I don't know, instead of enrich your fucking corrupt leaders in the Democrat Party. Hey, how about this? A third of the money goes to debt reduction. A third of the money goes back to the taxpayers. And the third might actually make it into the hands of the poor people that you want to help. But it's fascinating watching everyone just knee-jerk reaction like, I hate, I'm going to burn a Tesla. They're exposing corruption. Do you care? And so that's it. That's all I had. I understand you precious, quaint 25% of naive for the little people. That's great. I'm glad for the little people. Going through the Democrat Party isn't the way to do it. Matter of fact, it's so poorly managed. The welfare state has so failed. You should really, if you really care about the poor and the disadvantaged, you should really be re-entertaining the idea of having private charities and helping out within the community. Taking that away from the government is like, yeah, you fucked this up. You just made things worse. But that would take intellectual honesty. That would take honor and integrity to actually tangibly help out the poor, not just, I'm your, oh my goodness, I just so care about the poors and the minorities because I'm Becky, liberal white woman from the suburbs who does things that are popular. I'm going to become governor of Michigan and be a bitch. Super chats. John, Sarah Sangenius. Dems have been the party of the rich since 2007. Yeah. Per heritage, Dem media wouldn't admit this quietly until 2017, then loudly in 2021. Yeah, the media is just, they're the Goebbels. Oh, the fucking media. You fucking scum. You fucking scum. Hang on. Someone's going to. Goebbels. Joseph Goebbels. Yeah, he was the guy. He was the propagandist. In spite of my libertarian, leave me the fuck alone, other people are not my responsibility. I understand wanting to help the poor or the disadvantaged. Oh man, well, this is why black men left the Democrat Party, and then also some went to vote Republican. They got sick and tired of being poor. They got sick and tired of all the Democrat promises, and nothing's ever fucking delivered. Watching the left waste trillions enriching themselves and not doing lick fuck all shit to actually help the intended poor people. That pisses me off, and I'm not even politically aligned with the poor. I mean, just how many generations have died living only on hope and never any tangible, actual fucking production or progress? Hey, I know, Aaron, it would take some intelligence and thought and intellectual honesty and the brain power or I think it would be more intellectual courage and bravery to say, yeah, I know you're offering us free shit, but that's what's getting us in the problem in the first place. We're rejecting that free shit. I know the average person isn't going to do that. But I thought, well, take it back. A lot of the brothers said, fuck this shit, we're out. Some people are just completely exasperated with the Democrats. You can't be stealing $1 trillion or $2 trillion a year if you want to throw in federal and state as well. You can't be doing that and then expecting your government to work or any kind of progress to be made in the country. And then don't get me started about the sociological shit about pitting women against men, races against one another. Oh, you're that gender versus the straight cis or whatever. That's some fucked up shit. That's some real fucked up shit. You keep voting Democrat, but they're for the widow people. Just go keep reading Time magazine. Okay, go listen to some more NPR. All right. That's it. Link below. I have some books that are along this line if you want to see. If you care. It's called Enjoy the Decline, Accepting Living with the Death of the United States, and then How Not to Become a Millennial, which is basically just a list and a chronology of all the lies that we've told to the millennials and the consequential results, the vast majority of those lies being leftist Democrat lies about how the real world works. Are you are you are you gonna are we gonna still subscribe and bow down before the Democrat altar here? Do you actually care about your fellow man and fellow citizen? I'll see you guys later, Toodles.